Well, good afternoon and welcome to our ACERTUS driver recruitment event today. I'm Dwayne Davis, driver recruitment manager at ACERTUS, and we'd like to take about 30 minutes and sharing a little bit about ACERTUS, what we do, and why that we would love to have you join our team as an independent contractor. Joining me for today's webinar is our guest, John Brown. Not really a guest, and he's working from, as we all are for the most part, working from home. So he's got the dogs put up, and I guess all the children put away. So, but John, how the heck are you, buddy?
As one of our great coworkers would love to say, never better.
Ah, there you go. Well, John, take while we're waiting on some folks to get, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've been working in transportation for about 6 years, 4 years with ACERTUS. I started out servicing our clients as an account manager or account consultant, and then moved to a recruiting team where I became a trainer traveling the country, educating our drivers on our training policies and how they can become successful. Today, my role is solely to bring in exceptional talent that can assist ACERTUS in satisfying our clients' needs across the U.S. and Canada.
Thanks, John. So, as I said, we're here to talk to you about our team at ACERTUS and the over-the-road independent contractor opportunities that we currently have and will continue to have due to a lot of business that we've incurred.
We are also here to answer any questions you may have as an existing driver or candidate. We'll open up the last part of the webinar for your questions via our chat option at the bottom of your screen.
All right, so let's briefly go over the agenda for today. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to tell you a little bit about ACERTUS and why drive with us. Some driver qualifications, what you need to have, or what you need to happen for you to be able to apply for us. As John mentioned, at the end of the event, we'll have an opportunity, 5 or 6 minutes, if you want to answer, ask some questions of us through the chat at the bottom of your screen. And the key takeaways that we'll talk about today is just some instructions and some things you need to do to be able to apply for us, and how you actually do that, utilizing our website as well as other sources.
Let's also talk about what we would like for you to take away from our webinar, or some key objectives, such as gaining knowledge about ACERTUS and what we do, understanding the types of open driver opportunities we have, knowing what it takes to be an ACERTUS driver, and just learning how to apply the objectives that we give you.
So who are we and what do we do? We're a technology-driven automotive logistics and services company, and that's a mouthful in itself. And our focus is on solving complex problems for our clients throughout the life cycle of a vehicle. In other words, from the inception of a vehicle, when it's manufactured and comes off from the dealer, from the time that it's either taken to auction and being sold off into the private sector. So in a nutshell, we move vehicles for our clients. And we also provide additional logistics solutions or services that are either required or that they are requested by our clients. Let's go just a little bit more in depth as to some of the things that we do. And then John will touch on some of these as it relates to the drive-away side a little bit later in the webinar. One of the service lines that we offer is vehicle transport, where we actually put vehicles on trucks. We don't own the trucks, we outsource that, but we do provide that service. We provide title and registration services for our clients, either in bulk or when our drivers do it, complete that task in transit. Vehicle storage, we have 55 plus locations across the US and Canada and Puerto Rico where we store vehicles for our clients. Care services, any type of required or requested service by our client, either of our driver when it's in transit or when it's in storage, or before or after, or before delivery. Last mile delivery. Well, in other words, the drive-away side of the business, which is what our focus is today on the webinar. We're going to talk a lot about the things that you need to do and what the makeup of an independent contractor driver is with us, because this is the point where instead of putting vehicles on truck, and this is the service line where someone is actually picking up the vehicle, getting in the vehicle, and driving it from the pickup point to the delivery point, whether it's a storage location or whether it's to the actual end user at their home, or placing it in service at a place of business. And the last thing that we provide as a service line, as well as just a service, is for commercial motor vehicles, any type of inspections or any type of DOT compliance services that may need to be done in transit when moving one of those commercial vehicles. John?
The bottom line is, ACERTUS offers a better auto shipping process with greater visibility. We offer drive-away, and I mean actually driving the vehicle. Services for independent and mega dealerships, rental car companies, car auctions, and more.
So if I could ask a question there, John, when we talk about mega dealerships, we're talking about those like a Ford dealership, Chevrolet dealership, Toyota, Nissan, where drivers may go in there and pick up vehicles that are prepped and ready to go to be placed into service or to one of our storage locations, correct?
That is correct, Dwayne. We want to service our client no matter where they are across the country. As we said before, we service all 50 states, and we want to make sure that we are able to service them from any agreed upon pickup or delivery location. We also perform title and registration services for fleets, dealerships, and individuals if required or requested.
If you could elaborate a little bit more, I know I mentioned that in the slide that's up there now, very general, in general terms, but what does that mean to an independent contractor and how does that work?
Absolutely. Let me touch on a few things about services. So we require our drivers to perform services and we pay them a flat rate to perform each service. Not all of our vehicles require services, but the ones that do, that our clients request us to do, we will perform them, such as details, VIN inspections, oil changes, and including title and registration. Title and registration, or TNR, as you may hear that verbiage throughout our transportation company, is something you do every year on your birthday or every other year, which is go to the DMV and get plates for a vehicle. We'll pay you a flat rate to do that. You'll receive those plates, apply them to the vehicle, and then you'll deliver that car to our client and what we call turnkey ready. All they want to do is receive it and be ready to go.
Okay, very good.
We do a lot of in-storage and in-transit care also, detailing and maintenance services that assist in reducing the downtime and avoiding any delay or any delivery of our vehicles for the client. Whether a vehicle as an IC or a local driver or driving needs repairs, inspections, or premium or wash details, our drivers give our clients the vehicles in what I call tender loving care, or TLC. It's the needs to ensure it is road ready upon delivery for our clients.
And that road ready, a term that's we like to use is turnkey ready. That when you deliver that to the client, whether it's at their home or whether it's at a place of business, that you hand them the keys, that it has a minimum of a quarter of a tank of gas and sometimes more depending on what's requested or required for that particular delivery, that we can hand them the keys, that it's in light new condition, it's been cleaned, it's been washed, or again, it could be detailed if that was required or requested by the client, but they can get in the car and they can drive off. It's plated either with a temp tag or with a registered plate on it. It's ready to go. So turnkey, exactly. So, John, we've talked about the different services and the things and what our drivers do. Let's talk about the different types of vehicles that our independent contractors may be driving on any given day, and there's a wide spectrum. So tell us a little bit about that spectrum and some of the vehicles that are in between that.
Thanks, Dwayne. ACERTUS moves a variety of vehicles, from CDL vehicles such as sleepers and day cabs with ladder racks, DOT vehicles like box trucks, and other vehicles like Nissan Altimas, Ford Explorers, F-150s, and even police cars, I mean, among other vehicles out there. We want to make sure we can deliver any vehicle in the fleet.
So I have to ask here, you mentioned police cars, and I've actually seen one of those sitting outside our office. You know, we talked about that we do an inspection of all the vehicles to make sure that, you know, that they're road ready. So do we get a chance to turn on the siren and flip on the blue lights?
Not at all, unless you want to be
Oh.
arrested yourself. You cannot play with any toys. Your job is A to B, A to B.
Okay. So, well, that's too bad. Well, not really too bad, but I use that as a question, as emphasis that many of the vehicles that we pick up are all different sizes, shapes, and colors. And sometimes, even more importantly, it's got additional equipment that's on them that we're not required to or should mess with, like sirens and blue lights. But they also have decals on the side of them in some cases. So we're representing actually, you know, two different groups of folks, or and sometimes three. We're represented, our drivers representing ourselves as a company, ACERTUS. But, you know, if that is a pest control company or truck that we're placing into service and driving across country and delivering to an office in Oklahoma City, or you're driving hundreds and hundreds of miles as a rolling billboard and advertising for that, you know, for that particular company. So we have to be cognizant of that and be aware of that we are a rolling billboard and we are representing that particular company, as well as the leasing company or whoever sold that vehicle to, you know, to them. So we have to represent well. So as you can see, a variety of different types of vehicles that, you know, that we pick up and we deliver. So why drive for us?
Well, as a driver, you can join a company that is stable, with great pay and opportunities to travel the country with a flexible schedule. As ACERTUS, we offer a flexible schedule to our drivers. You're only required to do 1 unit a month. You're required to move 1 unit a month with us and to keep your business. However, if the wheels aren't turning, you ain't earning. We're bringing you on board because we want you to move vehicles for our clients, and our clients expect us to deliver.
Exactly.
So we're also a nationwide company, obviously, and our business is running 365 days a year.
So all year, even on holidays, there's the opportunity. The businesses may not be open, but our units may be in transit. One of our independent contractors could be on the road at any given time. Correct?
Absolutely. You can have a vehicle on the Christmas Eve that's due the day after Christmas. So, absolutely. Drivers are always in a working region, vehicles to service our clients. So when I say a working region, that means, Dwayne, that, like I said, we service all 50 states. Obviously, we're not going to have you drive to Hawaii, but we will, you know, and we have our own designated drivers in Alaska and Canada. We service Puerto Rico, but we will ask you to drive the lower 48 and the District of Columbia.
Okay. So let's talk about the money.
Okay, great. So for starters, you can make great money along with traveling the country, going to cities you may or may not have visited before. You are partnering with ACERTUS as an independent contractor, and you are your own boss, assisting us servicing our client. As mentioned before, we did talk about setting your own schedule because of the flexibility where you don't miss weddings, you don't miss, you know, prom and different things in life. ACERTUS is here to service the client, service the driver. The great thing about that, Dwayne, since we're talking about money, is ACERTUS gives you 80% of your money up front and 20% upon delivery. We're the only ones in the transportation driverway industry that's actually doing that. This ensures our drivers will be able to take care of their personals while they're on the road.
And if I could talk about the money, and we have on our slide and we say great money, and then we start from the high end, and there are 3 different categories from an income standpoint or from a compensation standpoint that I feel a driver can fall in. And let's back into this, and where you're making great money. Well, those are the drivers that, as you mentioned, that, you know, that the wheels are turning. That you're doing multiple runs per week, or unless it's a one long run coast to coast for that particular week, and you're doing multiple runs during the month, because the key to making great money at this job is pre-planning and being on the road, consistently to be able to do that. Meeting the two to three, four, maybe six per month will get you in that good money, range. And the one a month, that kind of puts you in that supplemental income category, where you may already have another job and you're using this as an opportunity for some supplemental income, some extra income, and that once a month vacation that you're out driving. So, and that's okay, but that falls into that supplemental income on the lower end, where you're making okay money. You're not going to make a living doing that, but that's okay. That's your choice as an independent contractor, and with that flexible schedule that you're going to talk about.
And the thing is, Dwayne, we work with dispatchers just like any other transportation company. Our dispatchers are the ones that you're going to build a relationship with, because they're the ones who are assisting you with those units, deliveries, or what we like to call runs. One of the things we have that we use is something we have called the load board. The load board allows our drivers to see the runs that are available, and they can request them, and our dispatchers will make a common sense decision on who will achieve or who will receive that particular run. The good thing about the load board also is you can see the next two pickups in the area where you're delivering the vehicle. So it's a common sense decision, obviously, by our dispatchers, but at least the drivers have something that they can look at from their tablet, their smartphone, or their computer while they're on the road.
And just to reiterate about the load board, it's a piece of technology that we created in-house. And the idea, as you said, is to be able to look, and from a visual standpoint, that you can see what runs that are actually available, and what those particular runs, what the compensation is. And where you can, for instance, say, oh, I'm near Baltimore, Maryland, at the moment. I see one that's for Baltimore up on the board. And then, see, that one's going to Minneapolis, but the closest one is in Eden Prairie, so let me go for that one. They put in for that one. And that one from Eden Prairie is going to, I don't know, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So they try to pair those three up together as one string, run. Now, having said that, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be awarded that run. Because a dispatcher or a logistics coordinator will look at that, and there may be already someone in Minneapolis that arrived the day before you actually even left, and that vehicle in Minneapolis was already available to pick up. So it just made, from a productivity, from an efficiency standpoint, and even more importantly, from a service standpoint, to go ahead and have that vehicle picked up and award that particular run to another driver or an independent contractor in this case. So you may look at it in the bottom like, oh man, that just makes sense. Well, how did that happen? Well, because they were making, a business decision to put that other driver in the vehicle. And we're working on some enhancements with the load board to where you will know specifically as to why you may or may not have received or been awarded a run off of the load board. So it continues to be a work in progress, and we're enhancing that. So please be patient with us in that regard.
Well, more importantly, we are always open for a direct phone call to dispatch for a unit request any day of the week, including with a weekend dispatcher that we have available to assist our drivers. Also, Dwayne, with us being a technology company, and we were talking about pay here a few moments ago, we issue all of our drivers what we call the Comdata MasterCard. The Comdata MasterCard allows us to make sure that we pay our drivers no matter where they're located across the country. So if you're in Utah, ACERTUS can pay you. If you're in Chicago, or Missouri, or Buffalo, New York, ACERTUS is able to pay you to make sure that our drivers are able to take care of their personals and receive the pay that they've already earned up front, not having to wait for a particular paycheck. Now you're getting your money, that 80% including fuel up front, and the 20% upon that.
And John, that Comdata card, just for reference point, that is a fairly common type of either debit or MasterCard that is used in the transportation industry, and even more specifically in the driveway business, correct?
That is absolutely correct. And more companies are moving to the Comdata card. A lot of truck drivers are very familiar with this particular card. It's just a better way to get pay. I don't want to say in a hurry, but rapidly into an account for a driver that's out there driving around, and they're able to help them be self-sufficient while they're on the road.
And one last thing in regards to that, a driver has the ability to have they have their own account, signed obviously account number for Comdata, that they can go in and they can see where funds have been loaded and for what particular reason, whether it be for downtime, because they were broke down or having some maintenance done, or title and registration. They can see those line item by line item as to what's been loaded on their Comdata card. So it's a good tool to use.
Absolutely, using them for rental cars, and you can use it for food. So it's basically like using your own debit card, in which it is yours. It has your name on it and everything. So, and with us being a technology company, we also have an app that is created by our company itself, which is called Velocity Driver. We're trying to do away with paper. In fact, we're doing away with using paper. That's the old way of doing things. We stepped into the 21st century, and we're going to use things basically through technology. So your smartphone, through orientation, we'll have you download the Velocity Driver app. That app allows you to, when you go and pick up a vehicle, you can take pictures of the car with your smartphone. You can actually take pictures of the mileage, and most of all, and important, that it covers us, because when you're taking pictures of the particular vehicle, any damages or anything that was already there, we can see it ahead of time. Now, as you pick that vehicle up and you drive it to the delivery point, you're going to do the same thing. Protects you and the client. You're taking pictures of what the vehicle looked like when you delivered it, the inside and the mileage. So it's a piece of technology that's fantastic for us that we're using. Does away with paper, and our drivers are using it for efficiency at the highest level across the board.
And again, as you mentioned, that is a technology and an app that was developed, that we own. It was developed by our fantastic IT department that we have here at ACERTUS. And it's much better to have homegrown pieces of technology than outsourcing that, and that you can always add to it, enhance it, which we will continue to do. But it's a great way to do business. It's one of the things that it's a perk and a thing that we offer our client from a service standpoint, that they receive all of their customer information in real time versus after the fact. And it also allows a great resource for our drivers to be able to do everything they need to do on that smartphone that we talked about. So, very good.
And great. So I'm excited to also talk about a few other perks. Since we're talking about perks, let's talk about one for the driver. So we offer referral bonuses to all of our drivers over the road. For instance, we give you $250 for every person you bring on board. They get $100 after they get out of orientation, and they receive the other $150 after they've done 12 trips within 90 days. Now, in saying that, that means the Uber driver that you met in San Francisco, or the Lyft driver you've seen in San Diego that took you to the airport, or the lady you sat on the bus from Milwaukee to Chicago on a 25-minute bus ride to pick up your next vehicle, those people are your clients. You want to make sure that they're great people. You want to make sure they have that aggressive nature that you have to be successful with us, so that they can come on board and start moving and bring referral people for themselves, referring people, bringing them in, getting them on board to this terrific opportunity that we have here. I'm also excited to bring up that we have what we call a quarterly bonus to the drivers, as long as it's a safety bonus, basically. As long as you don't have any incidents and there's no complaints from the customer when you deliver the vehicle, you'll receive a referral bonus. You'll receive a safety bonus during the quarter. So.
And John, that's important, and folks, that's important because safety is our number one priority, because we are in the transportation business. This is a safety sensitive type of work, that we do, and we have a minimum expectation of our drivers, and our client has a minimum expectations of us as a company to operate at the highest level from a safety perspective. So this really, in essence, is really a recognition and reward program for sustained operating safely for our drivers. So just a token of appreciation long term for making that and continuing to make that a focus. Okay, great, thanks, John. So how do you become an over the road independent contractor? Well, let's go over some of the minimum requirements first. So obviously you have to have a driver's license. You're driving a vehicle. You must be at least 24 years old, a satisfactory motor vehicle record, and we actually go above, industry standards. So we're very strict, and that's that safety aspect of it. And you must successfully complete a criminal background check. pass a pre-employment drug screen or a DOT or federal regulated drug screen if you're going to be a DOT or a CDL driver for us. We do an employment verification. We are a 100% tobacco-free company. And from a fund standpoint, from a sustainability, we do expect all of our drivers, as in life, that you have to be able to sustain yourself. So that's where a valid credit card and a debit card is very, very important for you to have in your possession. And last but not least, the old smartphone, because everybody has a smartphone for the most part, except maybe your grandparents that refuses to use the new technology. But quite honestly, for you to do your job as an independent contractor and to support the Venlocity driver, you need to have a smartphone to be able to function in that regard. So we've talked about the qualification. John, let's talk about the different types of independent contractor drivers that we currently need and what we're looking for and recruiting for.
Absolutely, Dwayne. So the great thing about ACERTUS, and I think it's terrific, that makes us different from a lot of other drive-away companies is we're not just looking for truckers. We're looking for all drivers, whether it's a regular Class C license, DOT driver who to move those box trucks with their valid DOT medical card, or the CDL driver such as A or B. Great thing about a regular driver with us at ACERTUS, like I said, we're located across the country, all 50 states. We have plenty of work for regular drivers to deliver vehicles for our clients. But at the same time, if you're a DOT driver, you can move those box trucks and also move those regular vehicles that are sitting out there. But to cap it all off, as a CDL A driver, you're not moving freight anymore. Your vehicle is the freight. You don't have the hazardous stickers that you have to stick up and watching the material while you're driving. You have a plethora of vehicles because any vehicle that we have in the company that needs to be delivered, you are eligible or qualified to deliver all those vehicles. So it gives you more of a window to pick up the vehicles that you need. Now, as that particular driver, you may be in a CDL vehicle headed to New York, but you pick up a Ford Taurus headed to San Francisco. It just depends on where you are and what we're doing. But we're going to utilize each and every driver to satisfy our customers.
Okay. And we're getting close on times, but I did want to mention that our large focus, as John said, is on the DOT and CDL, or in other words, the commercial unit type of business, because we have a lot of opportunity that's in front of us from our clients that if we have the resources to provide, the business is ours, for the most part. So we're looking for DOT qualified and CDL A and B drivers, moving forward. We'll hire the regular drivers all day, keep them coming. And if you have an opportunity moving forward, if you want to become a DOT driver or become eligible to do that, you can get yourself a physical. We'll get you road tested, get you a driver qualification file set up, and we'll turn you loose, to do that. So, thanks, John. So that's the type of drivers that we're recruiting for and we're looking for. So if you meet the qualifications, you can visit our website at ACERTUSdelivers.com /drivers or you can just go directly to the website and put in ACERTUSdelivers.com. It'll take you to the website. Scroll down to the bottom of the screen, click on careers, and then drivers, and it'll take you directly to our application page where you can choose what region that you're looking for to come out of or to work in, or you can choose all of them if you want to go coast to coast. It's up to you. Or you can go at the top right hand of the screen on the web page and click the login. It'll do a drop down and click driver, and boom, it'll take you right back to the to the same page and for the application process. Start that application process, and that will immediately trigger communication, whether it be via text or an email, as to what the next steps are for you in the process to become an independent contractor, over-the-road driver for ACERTUS. John?
Okay, folks, we saved the best part for last. We would love to hear from you. We have about 5 minutes left for your questions. As a reminder, use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen, and we will go ahead and service you with any other questions you have available.
Questions, anyone? Or comments?
So, there's a question from Victoria Farr out of Georgia. She says, do drivers get holidays? I'll answer that one. So, Victoria, being so that we mentioned that drivers are your own independent contractor, we mentioned during the webinar that you're only required to do one a month. You plan your schedule. So, if you're going to take off on Christmas, you're going to be off on Christmas. If you're going to take off on Easter, you're going to be off on Easter. We said you're on your own boss, and we actually mean that. You're partnering with us, and we're servicing our clients together. So, yes, you can take your holidays.
Other questions or comments?
Okay. There's one from Ron Sardina. He made a statement. You can get your holidays, but you're not getting paid by ACERTUS. Absolutely. You have to be running to receive pay. You get paid by the vehicles that you deliver.
Right. That would be your holiday pay, I guess, in essence. And it really comes from a legal standpoint and from a contractual, the contractual agreement. It's not that we don't have an interest in paying holidays, because as part of your contract, you are just that. You're an independent contractor. It's your own business. So you can pay yourself, in other words, for that holiday. And that's what an independent contractor or individual business is, that you would pay yourself, to do that. I think we have some more, John.
Yes. First of all, thank you, Ron Sardina. He's excited to get started. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Jaquisha Robinson asks, am I covered by insurance under ACERTUS while driving the vehicles? Is there a cost? So I'll answer that one. We have what we call occupational accidental insurance. That insurance covers you and the vehicle. Whether it's your fault or not in the accident, you're covered. However, there is no fee for that particular insurance. It's something that we take care of. Now, we're not going to take care of you for something that happened outside of that vehicle. But as long as you're in the vehicle, what happens in the vehicle is what we will cover. Another question from Robin Stonecker out of Conyers, Georgia. She says, can my wife, husband, boy, or girlfriend ride with me? That's actually from Ron Sardina. Great question. Ron Sardina, you have to be an independent contractor to ride in a vehicle with another independent contractor from ACERTUS. We do have teams out there that drive, and I do always tell the drivers, if you're going to team up, you still have to meet that requirement of moving one vehicle a month. In other words, if I was driving and my wife was a driver with me, I would take the first run in my name, which meets my requirement. She would take the second run in her name. And then anything after that, cash-wise, to split up, that's between us as independent contractors.
Yeah, and I think that there would have to be a business reason for someone to be riding someone with someone, as well, even though they're an independent contractor as well. So, and I saw the one for Robin about the child. No, no, sorry. No children in the car unless they qualify as an independent contractor, which I don't think they will.
And Ron Sardina, being a Buffalo Bills fan, as long as you're not from Pittsburgh, you do qualify automatically to get this particular job.
Whatever you say, whatever you say, Ron. Folks, we have run out. We've run out of time. Actually, gone over a little bit. So thank you for your interest and joining us today for some really good questions. I will say some interesting questions. So, but thank you for your interest and for joining us today. So I'll finish up and close that. So if you have an interest in driving for a company that is continuously building and growing, we're always innovating and looking for better ways to do things, to work smarter rather than work harder. And every day we're raising our expectations for everyone on the team. And our clients are doing the same thing, and we'll continue to do the same thing for us. So we're there to meet the challenge. So if you're interested, visit our website at ACERTUSdelivers.com and apply today, and experience our relentless drive to deliver. So for John Brown, I'm Dwayne Davis. Have a wonderful day. We look forward to talking to you soon. Be safe. Take care, folks. John, you want to stay on?
I am, yes.